Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Lounging with Lisa, the video series that has me lounging while coming at you with thoughts of the day. I'm sure you're wondering why I'm not canning like a mad woman. Well, first of all, Perpetual's not here. Second of all, a mother has not called. She's not home yet, so that I can go over to her house and use her dishwasher to wash the mason jars. So that's why I'm able to come at you wildly. Just in case you're wondering how my finger is here. I always hold this with my left hand. Yeah, Todd. Gotta love him, or else you'd fry him up for dinner, I guess. Okay, in that one of my last videos I made, I was talking about the District of the Goddess, District of Columbia, and then I didn't really unpack that statement or get into it much, so I thought I would. I took some notes. I went and looked at a Thom Hartmann clip, and I looked at another gentleman, a couple other people, just to kind of get an overall idea of this. So, now, a lot of it is according to Hartmann, but the founders of the country noticed that, well, the three sort of governments or societies on which we based a lot of our, the way we govern, God, maybe I should have waited a little bit, were the pattern. The USA was patterned on the Greeks, the Romans, and the Iroquois. And, for example, the one man, one vote that I mentioned earlier, in the Iroquois nation, that was actually the women did the voting, so they changed it over. But they noticed in all of these that they had gods and goddesses, especially the Greeks and the Romans. And so that the goddess, the District of Columbia, the Columbia goddess is named, now this is according to Tom. I'm not sure the other ones really mentioned this, so they said that she was more or less named after Christopher Columbus, and they made it into Columbia kind of deal, get it? And Washington, D.C., now I learned this last night on another thing altogether, nothing to do with Thom Hartmann. It's one of 3 city-states, because of course Washington, D.C. isn't really, it's a district of something, a district. It's not an actual state, or it's not located in a state. It's kind of strange, but it's like 10 square miles of this. And there are, of course, this is part of, there's 3 city-states. And one is, of course, D.C. The other one is London, because London is the same way. It's not a part of, I guess, an overall area. It's hard to explain for me because, I'm not a total pro at unpacking this. Ladies and gentlemen, forgive me. And then, of course, the Vatican, which I do know about. And that's, Vatican City is its own thing. It's separate from, really not a part of Rome. It's its own city-state. So I guess London, that's the same thing I was trying to say there, but I was failing miserably. So if you look at, the Vatican City and Washington, D.C., there's a lot of similarities, like I guess in London too, the monument, the Washington Monument, and things like that. In fact, back when I was an SDA, Seventh-day Adventist, their particular ideology said that the papal system was the Antichrist. And they had, they thought that America was part of prophecy. And then they would they compared a picture of the Vatican City and Washington, D.C., how you had sort of the Capitol dome type structures in each, and the sundial being the Washington Monument, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, moving back to the goddess angle of this, I find this very fascinating. They put the goddess all over Washington, and she represents a lot of things. I mean, tons of things. Destructive force, a good force, just name something, and this particular goddess represents it. She's on top of the Capitol dome, ladies and gentlemen, and for a very long time, I think still, you can't build anything higher than that statue in that 10-mile radius of the city-state that is D.C. Now, clearly the Washington Monument is taller, so what happened was, when they were building that, they had to get literally an act of Congress to be permitted to build that higher than the goddess herself. Now, the goddess was on money and whatnot up until the 80s when our dear sweet Ronald Reagan got rid of it. She would have been known as the Standing Liberty. Remember her, the Standing Liberty coin? I know this because my son was a coin collector. In fact, when he was about 10, he started to write a coin corner in the community news. He had his own column. It was very sweet. And he also did presentations and stuff for people, like a ladies card club had him over. Very sweet. I know it's kind of off topic, but yeah. So the Standing Liberty and all of these other things are really attributed to her. I think, oh, there's a little mole. I think even the Statue of Liberty is connected into her in some way. I'm not positive on that. Don't quote me. Let's see what else here. No buildings can be higher. According to Hartman, most people realize that it was the city of the goddess up until the Civil War, or the war between the states. And then after that, it was kind of lost to history, like what the heck was going on. And then, I thought this was very fascinating. He said, if you live in the district of the goddess, you're supposed to be dedicated to the general welfare of the nation, and, provide, oh, that's my mother calling, I just know it. I'll hurry up and end this. Yeah. And so that's why they don't have representation. When you live in D.C., you don't really have a senator, you don't really have a congressman, or any of that, because they were supposed to be dedicated to the general welfare of the nation. If you did sacred work of the goddess, because if you did the sacred work of the goddess, you wouldn't need a representation, and there wouldn't be any corrupting influence. I thought that was very interesting. This is why I still admire Thom Hartmann, ladies and gentlemen. I just didn't like the direction it's been going since really a little bit after I joined. Okay. Lounging with Lisa, the video series that has me lounging while coming at you with thoughts of the day. Please join together with me, drop your political identity, and that way we can focus on issues like how important it is about the district of the goddess, the city of the goddess, and we can join together in order to, focus on issues and make this world a better place. One day at a time. I think I hear my mother talking over the answering machine, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye now.